Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and build a step-by-step roadmap to finally take the edge off your financial anxiety. We're going to take 21 essential strategies from top financial experts and break them down into practical, easy-to-understand steps to help you achieve lasting financial wellness.
Look, if your wallet's been feeling a bit lighter lately, you are absolutely not alone. 7 in 10 Canadian respondents actually perceive the cost of living as a major financial hurdle right now in 2026. It's the dominant force shaping our realities, casting a pretty long shadow over both our everyday choices and our biggest long-term dreams.
But here is the real kicker and the exact problem we're solving today. While a massive majority of us are incredibly stressed about money, only about 1 in 3 of us actually have a solid financial plan in place to handle that pressure. That is a huge gap between feeling the anxiety and actively fixing it. Well, today, we're bridging that gap.
So, we're going to climb out of this together in 5 clear stages. 1. Money mindset and truth. 2. Mastering your daily budget. 3. Tackling debt and emergencies. 4. Protecting and optimizing wealth. And finally, planning for your future.
All right, starting with stage 1, money, mindset, and truth. This is all about getting to the very root of your financial behaviors. Canadian financial educator Jessica Morehouse hits the nail right on the head here. She says understanding your relationship with money is the absolute key to breaking cycles of debt. Think about it for a second. Do you stress spend? Do you totally avoid your banking app because it just makes you anxious? Figuring out the why behind your habits is the first crucial step to actually fixing them. And getting to that truth? Well, it means getting real candid. Maybe that's quiet self-reflection, maybe it's chatting with a professional, or, and this is a big one, having a totally honest money conversation with your partner before making any huge commitments. You two might have totally different money values, which is perfectly fine, but finding that alignment early on ensures you aren't hit with any painful surprises down the road. Moving right along to stage 2, mastering your daily budget. This means taking back control of your day-to-day spending. Let me tell you, tightening the belt is incredibly common right now. Last year, 51% of Canadians planned to cut spending, but jumped to 2026, and that number has skyrocketed to 67%. Doing a full inventory of your fixed costs is so critical right now. Figure out how to minimize them. For example, if your phone bill is completely dragging you down, taking 20 minutes to switch to a cheaper provider is literally a necessary step today. But here's a massive mental shift for you. Money coach Nicole Victoria completely flips the script on budgeting. She points out that tracking your spending isn't about cutting out joy. It's about finally seeing the story behind your money. Whether you use a trusty spreadsheet or an app like TD My Spend, the goal is to separate the purchases that bring you genuine, lasting happiness from the ones that are just fleeting. I mean, if you're spending hundreds on clothes but still hate everything in your closet, the story your money is telling you is that it's time for a new approach. To organize that story, a lot of people use the classic 50-30-20 budget breakdown. It's beautiful in its simplicity. Half your income goes to your absolute needs, 30% to your wants, and 20% strictly to savings. This framework is a real game changer because it instantly highlights where your financial pressure is actually coming from, while making sure you still have room for your real goals. So, how do you actually guarantee you hit that 20% savings target? You put it on autopilot. As Nicole Victoria brilliantly notes, when your financial life runs in the background, you stop relying on sheer willpower and actually start seeing results. In fact, 18% of Canadians are planning to use tools just like these. If you bank with TD, for example, you can use pre-authorized transfers, or their Simply Save program, which literally sneaks 50 cents or a few bucks into savings every single time you tap your debit card. It completely frees up your mental space.
Okay, into stage 3, tackling debt and emergencies. This is all about building your personal financial moat.
This stat is a tough pill to swallow, but according to Statistics Canada, 1 in 4 of us would not be able to cover a sudden $500 expense, right? The car breaks down or a medical bill pops up and boom, you are in full-on crisis mode. Socking away even tiny amounts from each paycheck into an emergency fund is your absolute best defense against falling into this trap. Having that little buffer just makes you feel so much safer. Now, if you're currently attacking existing debt, you've basically got a choice. Tackle the math or tackle your psychology. The avalanche method is all about the math. You aggressively pay down your highest interest rate debt first to lower your overall interest. On the flip side, the snowball method totally ignores the interest rates and has you pay off your smallest balance first. Why? Because getting that quick win builds serious psychological momentum.
Let's actually look at how to execute the mathematically superior avalanche method step by step. First, you list everything out from the highest interest rate to the lowest. Second, you keep making the minimum payments on everything so your credit score stays perfectly healthy. But step 3 is where the magic happens. Every single extra dollar you scrape together gets thrown at that highest interest debt. Once that one is finally gone, you cascade all those funds down to the next one on the list. It is a highly strategic way to regain control.
All right, stage 4, protecting and optimizing wealth. Basically, safeguarding what you've worked so hard to build.
Financial journalist Renee Sylvester Williams makes a really crucial point here. True financial wellness means preparing for the worst-case scenarios, like major health issues or, to be totally blunt, our eventual expiration dates. If you're self-employed, critical illness or disability insurance is absolutely vital to keep income flowing if you get hurt. And hey, if you are financially responsible for literally anyone else, even a pet, you absolutely need a will. Oh, and on the optimization side, don't let your credit cards get lazy. Regularly compare the rewards, the fees, the interest rates. Make sure those cards are working for you.
And please maintain a very healthy skepticism out there. According to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, Canadians lost a staggering $704 million to scams in 2025 alone. That is a massive number. And these aren't just your obvious, clunky phone calls anymore. They are highly sophisticated operations. Staying scam savvy is absolutely non-negotiable for modern financial wellness. Now, if you've got your assets protected and you happen to have some extra room in your budget, charitable donations are actually a fantastic way to optimize your wealth. Earmarking funds for a charity obviously does a ton of good for the community, but it also gives you tangible financial benefits through federal tax credits. You get 15% back on the first $200 you donate, and that jumps up to a 29% credit for anything above that. It's truly a win-win. And finally, we arrive at stage 5, planning for your future. It's time to shift from daily defense to long-term offense and look at that long horizon.
The absolute first step to long-term planning is just learning the language. If terms like TFSA, RSSP, ETFs, or index funds sound like alphabet soup to you right now, it is time to learn the basics. You really need to understand the tax perks of a TFSA versus an RSSP. You need to figure out your personal risk tolerance and decide if direct investing or maybe something a bit safer like a GIC makes the most sense for your net worth.
But listen, when it comes to investing, perfection is the enemy of progress. You absolutely do not need thousands of dollars to get started. Putting away even $5, $10, or $20 a paycheck matters so much because of the magic of compound interest. As Renee Sylvester Williams says, it's time in the market that's more important. The longer your money sits there invested, the exponentially greater its potential to grow. Time is literally your greatest asset. To really secure that horizon, you want to mix that compound interest with some solid expert guidance. Sitting down with a financial planner is just a phenomenal idea. They can help you map out a concrete lifestyle plan that actually fits you. That way, you don't get so bogged down in tracking every penny of your daily budget that you completely lose sight of those big, massive life goals.
So before you take your first step today, before you download a new budgeting app or open an investment account, I want you to ask yourself one final question. What is this all for? Are you aiming for a totally peaceful retirement? Or maybe you're building a financial launch pad for your kids' future? Figuring out your underlying why is honestly the only thing that makes all this discipline worth it in the long run. So what is your ultimate goal? Find that answer, keep learning, and start building your financial future today.